Talks with T and Shez.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Talks with
T
and Shez. I got this going every time. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while since I've been here and able to do this live for you, but it's so good to be back and speaking with the lovely T. We have got, I would say, I'm really kind of looking forward to today's show. I'm looking forward to what's going to come out of it. I'm just going to get straight into it, T. Do you mind if I just take over right now?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. It's up to you.
I'm going to take over. So this is the Shez takeover. Before I go into it, who our guest is, I just want to say a big thank you for all of you who have been journeying with us whilst we've been doing the Limitless Talks. It's something that we both enjoy. It's something that's on our heart, just to support and help women and anybody who's listening on their journey about finding themselves as well as finding Christ, because that is ultimately one of our main goals as well, is just to be real and to share our real lives, our everyday lives with others, and just be realistic about our expectations of what life brings, really, isn't that? It's about that. But our special guest for today, she is a mom, a wife, she is a minister of the gospel, a pastor even. She has a gift. She's known as the gift as the prophecy gift. So, you know, she's known to be a prophetess. She is a worshipper, a life coach, and so much more. I would say she's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. She definitely thinks out of the box, and she is definitely limitless. So I want to introduce to you the lovely T. Yeah, we've been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks about getting T on just to share her story and a bit about her. So those of you who already know her testimony, I'm hoping that this will actually bring a different dimension to who she is out of fire. But we're going to tease out some things which is going to basically give you a bit more meat about the grounding of the foundations of Limitless and a bit more about what T is actually doing now. So T,
yes,
T, I'm going to just open up with just a random question just to kind of get us into the swing of things.
Go on. This is nerve-wracking, you know. This is really nervous, getting questions asked to me. Anyway,
it's all about you today. Okay, then. So my random question, if you was on a desert island.
Oh, Lord.
What one item, one luxury item, would you not be able to live without?
Oh, my gosh. That's a big question. What would I not be able to live without? Luxury. Clothes. My clothes.
Wow. I was going to comment on your style, actually, because I would say my words to describe T's dress sense, I would say quirky, funky, cool. Literally. Where does that fashion sense come from?
Do you know
I'm
what?
I'm just looking at you right now. You've got the reds going on. You've got the bit of the greens. You've got the white glasses, blonde hair. Where did that come from?
Do you know what happened? Okay, I was brought up in church, yeah. And to be fair, I didn't actually have. I used to wear black. This is before I kind of found myself. So this all came when I started to find myself. So I used to wear black. Everything was black skirt, black top, black. That's all I was. The only thing that looked different was probably my color of my skin. Like, you know, so I used to wear a lot of black. And then, but I used to love seeing colors. I used to think, oh God, I wish I could put that on or whatever. And then I think in my teens, I would say about 14, 15. I went into, no, actually I was about 16 because I was on a training scheme at the time. And now I'm getting my own little salary, aren't I? So, you know, I'm getting my own little monies. And I went out and I bought this really bright top and I wore it to church. And some people said it looked really nice. Some people said that, oh, it's a bit bright up, don't you think? And initially, because you know how people get.
Yeah,
and
you can
then
have your naysayers.
Exactly. Good afternoon, Angela. God bless you. Good morning to you, probably. I think you're in the morning, aren't you? And so literally it started there. And then from there, I would just be getting ready to go somewhere. And I'd be like, oh, I want to wear this, but I want to wear this as well. And so then I'd just literally say, oh, let me combine them together, see if they look good. And that's how it happened. It just literally walked across. And then I went and got my hair coloured when I was younger, in my 20s. I went and got my hair coloured. And I remember them doing the colour. It was like a burgundy colour. And I was like, oh, that wasn't enough. So I researched, I bought a pack of colour that I wanted in my hair and plucked it in my hair. And so from then, and then it got lighter and lighter and lighter, right? And then from there, I just literally started, as I got older, started to embrace me. I was like, this is me. This is who I am. I actually feel quite comfortable. So I would go into somewhere and, you know, church-wise, and they'd be looking at me like this. And I'd be thinking, why are you looking at me like that? I didn't even realize that I'd had an outfit on that probably looked out of the box or something like that. And I just didn't clock on. And then I'd go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and I thought, oh, that's probably why they were looking at me. And then I'd come back into the church and I'd just be like, you know, I really haven't got time to be like how people wanted me to be. But I realized early on that my identity was not about how I looked really, but how I identified with God and how God identified with me.
Yeah.
And so that I learned that quite early, even though I still had insecurities.
Yeah.
But I feel that I embraced me just as I was. And so I tend to look at something, see it in the shop, I think, oh, I like that. And it's always got to be, it's what I attract to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I see you're very creative, you're quite artistic with your nails, with your makeup and everything. We'll go into that a little bit more. But there's a quote that you just reminded me of when you were talking. And the quote is, why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Exact. Oh my gosh, that's a
I
real
love
good
that
one.
quote.
I
love that quote. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And we're all born to stand out. We're not born to be like a mirror everybody else. We're
That's
born
right.
to be ourselves. And I just love the way you embrace your individuality. And you're like your own advert of Limitless, because the way you just put those colours together, girl, you put no limits. But it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks so good. I do love it. Absolutely love it. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit. Just going back to your origins, where it all began. So T, you've often talked on the show about being adopted. And I know that was from a very young age. You were, you know, adopted and fostered, or fostered and adopted. Just share a little bit about your journey.
Well, I understood when I got to I would say it was about 8 or 9, that I kind of understood that I was an adopted child. And I found out also that I was fostered before, but I was fostered into the same family.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I always class this as such a gift from God. I always class it as a real blessing from God, mainly because I was fostered into a Christian home. And then later on adopted into the same family. According to my understanding, I was quite young when I was fostered. I was probably about 1.5.
Yeah, that's very young.
1.5 when I was fostered. And to my understanding from my birth mum, I've gone straight there, that she didn't really want to even, in the end, the fostering was done for a particular reason, but she didn't actually want to give me away. But it had already gone through. Things were going through, and it wasn't able to overturn with that. So and in them days, it was very different to what it is now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Very, very different. But yeah, I was adopted into a family. It was me and my sister, my dad, and my mum.
Wow.
It's a family of 4, yeah. And I was the baby in that family, so yes.
Oh, but you just say the baby's the spoilt one. Would you say that you were the spoilt one, or?
Nah, not at all. I was too naughty to be spoiled.
Oh wow. You were that child.
I was that child that was but I do place it down to my history. I believe that I was that child that was very insecure, but then that goes with the territory of being fostered and adopted. So at the time, I wouldn't have even thought that was the reason. But as I've grown and found out more, it's all down to that. But it is a journey.
It definitely is, and like you said, there are traits that tend to be linked to children who are in the care system.
Exactly.
And it's quite known. And you mentioned there that you found out from your birth mum that or some people might say tummy mummy.
Yeah.
Because I've heard it mentioned in different kind of ways within that area, that field of work. But what age was you when you found out that she actually didn't want to, and I'm using this for lack of a better term, give you up or place you into the system?
Well, I got to know her, I met her properly, because if I just go back a little bit, she used to pick me up and take me to the doctors and stuff like that. But I didn't know. It was this white lady that used to pick me up and take me to the doctor. So I just thought I was special, like, really, really special, which I think I still am. Anyway, so she used to take me to the doctors, and then that stopped. And then the next time I saw her I think I was about 11, 13, between 11 and 13, those ages. And then that's when I realized that I've got another mom. Do you know what I mean? I've actually got another mom. I didn't know what to do with that at that age. And the reality is I didn't do very much with it because I just didn't know. You know, I was too young to even. I felt that it was frightening. It would have been wrong for me to go and tell my adopted mum that I'd met my birth mum. Do you know what I mean?
Oh wow! So she didn't actually know?
No. That I'd met her, and then I would ask my adopted mum a lot of questions. I've got to be honest. My adopted mum, I think she's like any mum. She was like any mum. Felt a little bit territorial. But as I got older, she had grown me in such a way that it was actually quite easy for me to go up to her and say, "Mum, don't feel intimidated or threatened by anybody else. You are my mum." And I had to, and I think when we had that conversation, my mum's, my adopted mum's old-time Jamaican woman. Yeah. So although she was very embracing of young people, obviously with anybody, we find it hard to deal with certain things sometimes. And I believe I was very understanding of that with my mum. And so we had this conversation where my mum was like, basically I could discern. I mean, I'm prophetic in it, so I discerned it. Do you know what I mean? And so I had the conversation. I says, "Mom, you are my mother. You brought me up. I'm really grateful that my birth mother brought me into the world and did not let me go. Didn't abort me or anything like that." And I'm getting it on. So I was getting an understanding of me for myself. I wouldn't say it was easy, but I was getting an understanding. So yeah. So from there, that's after I spoke to my adoptive mom, we just moved forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Lovely. Yeah. So what age was, because I know you mentioned about the behaviour, did the behaviour kick in after you found that you were adopted, or was there something that you just hadn't, because you said the behaviour was linked to?
Yeah, I was always very insecure little girl. When I went to my first school, this is amazing. They threw me out of the Catholic school because she was too naughty. They threw me out. They said, they can't. After my first year, I think you go into them days. We used to go into. We didn't have nursery. We went into reception, which is first year, and then from first year we would go into the next year up. I think by the end of the second year, they said, "Nah, you need to send her to another school. We can't manage her. We can't manage her at all." And I get it, because I can remember some of the stuff that I'd be literally sitting on the teacher's table, like, you know, trying to get attention, seeking a lot of attention, but not really, probably not even know. I didn't even know why I was seeking attention. I know now, because I'm more learned, and because of the things that I do, and the arenas that I'm in, the places that I help people in, I know now. But then I had no clue. And then when I went to my new school, which my sister was in, the teacher said, "We'll have 10 Beverleys." 10 Beverleys, which is my sister, and no more Otensias.
They actually told you that?
They told my mum.
Oh.
And my mum been, because my mum's reports, my mum used to hate going to parents' evening, because the reports were always negative, always bad, always, you know, not so good. And it is what it is. But the other offside to that is finding out that I was dyslexic as well when I got older. So
because that's it as well, because obviously being in the classroom setting, and I know from personal experience, it's actually quite hard to navigate the learning experience, not being able to understand what's going on, and then being confident enough to say, "Miss, help me, I need help." Or it's kind of like, "Oh, I don't get this teacher's rubbish." Stop throwing things around the classroom type of attitude. So Augusta, you had a lot of stuff going on.
A lot, when I think about it, it was a real lot. But, you know, God be praised, I'm where I am today.
Well, that's it. And the education system then was very different to how it is now. I mean, they'll definitely have things in place. You probably would have been diagnosed. You'd have a mentor. You'd have support, because that's what's in their place now. But like you said, God be praised. God be praised. I wanted to touch on something you mentioned very quickly. You mentioned that your mum was white, and obviously you said you was in a Jamaican family. In terms of being in that situation, I am going to touch on this very quickly. There's other things I want to touch on. We might have to do about 3 interviews with you, because my gosh.
You know my
okay, so the colorism, because obviously you are very fair-skinned. You probably as a child didn't realise that you had a white mother, maybe a black father in that sense. So come on, how was that growing up in the household as well, and then the schooling and the experiences of that?
Well, when I found out I was half white, I'd already been cultured really into a black family, so I didn't actually think I was half white, so it was really quite challenging, really, in the sense of my emotions. Also, I had different hair, so I'd go to school, I'd get picked on by the black kids, and I'd get ostracized by the white kids. So I didn't actually have an identity place. In saying that, I had a question asked to me by a friend many years ago who has dual heritage children. And she said to me, "Where would you place a dual heritage child if they were in the system? Where would I personally place them?" Well, we're in a British country filled with white people. And I've got nothing wrong with nothing against my other half of my culture. But I would say that they would need to find their other part of the culture where there's less of that within the society. So I would place them with a black family, mainly because I believe they need to find out their heritage, and a black family of their heritage. So if it's an African and a white, then I would say let them go into an African family. If it's a West Indian child, I'd say let them go into a West Indian family. Because what I think, even though I was totally insecure and all over the place, right? this is the reality. I was totally insecure and all over the place. I had an identity of part of my culture that most dual heritage children don't get. Do you know what I mean? And I get to realize that my birth mom actually got my brothers and my sisters to be able to embrace their other side of their culture. So she would cook Jamaican food for them. Do you know what I mean? So that they would get the other side of their culture. So in terms of that, I think it's really relevant for the security of somebody probably in their latter years to find that, okay, I embrace both my cultures, but sometimes you can be in a Black environment and you can actually feel quite left out. Do you know what I mean? But me being me, I'm them things, you know me, Shez, you know me for years, they don't move me from who I am. So I'm like, well, you know, if you don't like me, that's your problem, not mine. I don't need to be around you that much. Do you know what I mean? But identity wise, I think I found it hard because I was picked on. And then by the time I got into my senior school, secondary years, I became the person that was like going to retaliate in terms of physically retaliate. And so I used to, anybody that bothered me, I'd just knock them out. Do you know what I mean?
So you just didn't mess with you.
And so eventually, by the time I got into my third year in senior school, everybody was quite scared of me. So, which was good for me. And then I got saved. I got filled with the Holy Ghost.
We all developed these coping mechanisms. Yours was with the fist.
Yeah. Like, you know, and even if they, I mean, I remember fighting one of the girls once, and she scratched the whole of my face. I mean, my face was just dripping with blood when she'd finished. And I got home and I was trying to hide my face from my mom. But somebody had already contacted my mom to say that she'd had a really bad fight. But she walked away with quite a bit of bruises because she may have been scratching me, but I was thumping her. So, you know, I remember going home and my mom looked at my face. Look how the girl. Sorry, I say it in English. Look how she's done my daughter's face. Look how my daughter's face.
No, say impact her as well. Because you were going there.
She goes, look how the girl done me picnic fierce. Like, you know, she was like, my mom did. I mean, my mom normally would have probably given me a beating on top of it. But because she was so, when she looked at my face, she was crying. She ended up in tears.
No.
But you know, we have things in our life that we need to deal with, and within society at that time, because I'm in my 50s, at that time it was quite challenging, very, very challenging for people that were of dual heritage. Do you know what I mean? I know I heard Sai interview somebody as well. It was challenging. It was challenging because we had no identity. But what I embraced was my Black side because I was in a Black home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. So the melanin was there and strong within you.
That's black.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because we could literally talk for hours and hours just on our colour of our skin, based on experiences that we've had. And it's so amazing that the experience that you've had in life has now brought you to who you are today. I want to focus, I'm mindful that time has gone, and I really want to get onto the life coaching.
Yeah.
Because even in that process of going through the childhood and coming to that place where you became secure in yourself within that time frame, and you've mentioned it before about, you know, being married, having children, getting divorced, being in the church, and that dealing with the cultural issues of the church as well, coming out of that, dealing with the workplace and being a businesswoman. There is so much that you have done, being a pastor and experiences within that and around that, being attached to different ministries, being unattached to different ministries. You have a book within you, which I know you're in the process of writing, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. I've got a phenomenal coach. She's brilliant. She really, really, really pulls it out of me. And I decided to have a coach. She's not only just my book coach now, she's become a coach. She coaches me in other areas.
Yeah.
But I decided to have a coach mainly because I just wanted to make progress. I found that I kept going, doing stuff and finding a block. And so as I started to develop in my coaching, with her coaching me, it made me, and as a coach, actually, you do need a coach. So I
Yes,
do
you do.
say that you do need a coach. You can't just be a coach without coaching, because you need somebody to air with. And so literally, I decided to go for my book, and we are in the process of writing it, and it's actually brought back so much memories, brought back so much things, a lot of things. Me and my husband were talking about the other day, and I was like, babes, I think these are all coming from my book, you know, where I was, where I am now. And it's just bringing memories. So it's actually made me analyze myself a bit more as well, believe it or not. And you know, I've always been quite analytical, but
yeah,
like it's really going beyond the joke now, like, you know, sort of thing. So yeah, the book has made me analyze myself a little bit more. And also see some of the vulnerable sides that I do have, some more of the vulnerable sides that I do have as well.
Yeah, because we're all quite vulnerable. We've all got areas of vulnerability which trigger us. And sometimes life can trigger us in one way, or situations can trigger us in certain ways. And it's about understanding how to deal with it. So you've mentioned that you've got a life coach, and I also know that you are a life coach. So I want you just to kind of share the importance of that, because the life coaching, I would say it's been around for about 10 years. 10 years ago when I started hearing it, this term life coach. Before that, it was counsellors. Within school setting, it was mentors and things like that. But life coaches tend to be for adults. Am I right in saying that?
Actually, to be honest, it does fit into that category. However, you can life coach anybody. But more than likely, it's more when you're getting a little bit older, like you probably going from your teens upwards. Mentoring tends to be at a lower age, where you mentor. But life coaching is now you're actually gaining skills to develop yourself, and you want to go past the blockages. So we're not counselors, we're just coaches. So we actually steer you in a way that allows you to develop and build your skills, your natural skills that you have to do stuff with. People don't realize how skillful they are. They look at themselves and they think, I need to progress, and they don't know how to progress. And normally we just need a little bit of steering. You know, you can get to the point where you've studied and you know how to be a coach. I'm a qualified life coach. You've studied, you've got that under your belt, but now you have to get a bit of advice. I do recommend that you pick that advice carefully. Who's going to advise you, because there's all sorts of people that say they are coaches and they've got no qualifications really for coaching. But also you'd have to be able to attach to that coach in terms of personality wise, being able to listen to the coach, or for them to steer you, because we only steer you into what you already have in you. And so that's what I do as a coach. Hey, Prophetess Sandra. Sorry, I have to keep saying hello to everybody. My peoples are coming on, you see.
Well, you can see, I can't, so you go ahead. Well, that's it. It's really interesting, actually, because I suppose you go through life, don't you? You spend so many years in nursery or some sort of early years education. You go through your school life, you go through college, and, you know, mandatory now, you have to be in education or in training up to the age of 19. So up to that age, you've always got someone kind of steering you or supporting you on your journey. Some people then go on to university. So based in that kind of field, they would often still be somewhere where somebody is coaching them and helping them on their journey through the things that they're interested in. And I suppose once you come out of that formal setting, you're kind of in a business or a work environment where some places do have the support mechanisms in there, don't they? I know in education, they tend to have people there for you your line manager is supposed to kind of can take on that role. But from what you're saying, social, but it sounds really quite beneficial, being able to connect with somebody outside who can help you, someone who you can be confident, be confident to speak to, and someone, who you can kind of be open with. I was going to say, because it's not everybody you can coach. Am I right in saying that? Because if someone's not open, is that someone you would take on if someone's not going to be open?
I think I would personally, because I have coached people who are not initially open, are very closed. I think I would, mainly because I do have a prophetic side to me. So I kind of, God, how on earth do I deal with this? Sometimes there's people that just are not compatible with me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not compatible with them. You've got to understand that what happens, and you mentioned something about, going from school, being mentored, through school, you get help, and then you get help when you go to college, and you get a little bit of help when you go into university. And then all of a sudden you go into real life and people are expecting you just to get on with it. Right. And the reality is, oh, well, you're a big person now. Some people say I'm a big woman or I'm a big man and whatever, but you still need guidance. You still need steering. And the reason being is that there are going to be obstacles and pitfalls that come in your life. And we don't have all the answers. Do you know what I mean? As an individual, I do not have all the answers for my own life. Do you know what I mean? But there are people around me that can help me. And I also think that sometimes you think there's people around you that can help you, so let them help you. But you need to invest into yourself as well. So why I went for a coach was that I wanted to invest in me. I've been struggling with getting this book out there. I've been struggling with dealing with certain things. And for me, being able to have the coach that I have now really helped me to become more focused and more focused. Somebody's at the door. Sorry, guys.
Somebody's at your door.
Carry on talking shit. Someone's knocking my door. Hold on.
Guys, these things happen. So just to backtrack slightly, I'm talking to T about her experiences. So she shared with us already about her upbringing and certain things that she's gone through life. And I suppose I really want to home in on the fact that just because you have gone through something doesn't mean that you then disqualify in order to be that limitless, successful person. Now, success is going to look different to everybody. People's benchmarks, some people will see, oh, I've got money to do everything that I want to do, so I'm successful. Some people might deem it to be, oh, I've got my house, or I've got my husband and I've got my children. Or somebody might think I've got my car, based on these material things. But I would say, speak for T as well, we're strong believers that being successful is about you reaching your full potential. It's about you becoming the person that you're purposed to be, and being meaningful in your approach towards yourself and others. For me, the material things disappear. All those other things which I've mentioned already, they don't last. They really don't last. But you living with yourself, the reason why I had that question at the start about if you was on a desert island, if you're on a desert island, you should be able to say that I'm still successful because I am here, not that, oh no, I'm abandoned, I'm by myself. And that's what we're really pushing for. And Tia, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing. I know there's so much more to it, but I really see the Limitless as an extension of who you are. And, it's an extension of your coaching. It's an extension of everything that you do in everyday life, because, you're not pretending like you know it all, or that, you've got it all put together. You have the best start in life. No one can say to you that you haven't fought against stuff. But it's just so good to hear that you're not just thinking, oh, look at me, I'm this, I'm that, but you're also helping and assisting others. And I love when you said about you're not looking at just those people you can reach, that you're open and willing to reach out to the unreachable, those people who are a bit stubborn. And, that does take a little bit of counselling skills. I know you said as a life coach, you're not a counsellor, but you have to have a heart of a counsellor. You have to have a heart for people. And that's something that I've got to commend you on. I've always known you to have a heart for people, and that's
Oh,
just how God's created us to be. So it's amazing. It's beautiful.
yeah, I think when I'm looking at moving forward as well, because as you know, I'm doing a package for the new year. I'm doing this package for everybody for the new year. And it's in a group setting. The reason why it's in a group setting is that it's going to be you're going to be able to work with each other, with other people, and gain connections as well, because sometimes we just need that right connection in an environment. And so that's why I narrowed it down to a group setting. Yes, I could literally say that, you know, I'm going to do the coaching and these are the packages and blah, da, 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 however you pan your way. But you are right. I do have a heart for the people. And I think I have a heart for the people mainly because of my own journey. You know, my mom, my adopted mom was phenomenal, right? But there was a point in my life when I needed another voice.
Yeah.
And instead of the other voice being there, you know, I was in church. By this time I'm ordained and I needed to hear something else. And instead I was hearing people that were more against me because of my image, because of all this lot. And so it was really challenging. And I even got anxious in certain areas of my life. So the coaching package that I'm looking at doing is mainly to get in you to find who you are, prioritizing yourself, developing things like self-awareness, overcoming your limitations, knowing your value. And it's over a 6-week period. We're going to be doing that. There's other subjects that we're going to be touching, but it's over a 6-week period. I do say to people, invest in yourself. Some of us are in situations where, you know, I just can't get myself out of it. It's not about the people around you. It is about what you need to do for you. And so, you know, Shez, you've been on my journey where sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to let this go right now. Like, you know, because you're somebody that I'll get on the phone with and just go bounce off and tell you that, you know, I'm just going to do this. I'm having problems with this. You see, people think that because I'm a minister and do you remember when we did Bishop and Bishop Brooks and Pastor Yvonne, and even when we did Isha, do you know what I mean? And I think, who else did we do? A few people that we've done, you've realized that they're like, we're not all that perfect. You know what I mean? We need to, you know, we need help, you know? So for me, you know, I want to give that out as well. I want people to don't be embarrassed about the fact that you might need a bit of help. Do you know what I mean? Don't be ashamed about it. That's why we started the Limitless Talks, isn't it? We started the Limitless Talks because we wanted people to hear something that wasn't the norm. Do you know what I mean? That was not just all this, you know, I'm a born again woman of God, walking the office, walking the pastorship, walking all this. But there's some real life things that we go through. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you get the impression from some people that I don't need any guidance or anything. I'm going to foot it and push it myself. No. You need some help, right? And if you need help, then launch out and invest in yourself. Help is essential for growth. Do you know what I mean? And for getting to the next stage in your life. Yeah. So as I said, we're doing it's actually what I called it was like, it's like a New Year's challenge, really. And it's like, to kickstart.
Does it fit into like, remember how we started with the resolutions? So does it continue on setting the year right?
And I was looking at it because I don't know if you remember years ago, I when we used to have bits of conversation, I'll go to my new year and I haven't achieved anything by the middle of the year, and so please, like, you know, and then it was that year that I decided that I'm going to start from earlier on. I'm going to start coming up to the end of the year that I was in. I can't remember what year it was. And I thought, I'm going to put things down. I'm going to start the ball rolling so that when I get into my new year, I'm actually being successful. Do you know what I mean? And that was 2018, actually. and all the obstacles, if you remember, that came against me at that time, it was pretty intense. But somehow, because I'd started preparing beforehand, there were obstacles, there was deaths, there was all sorts. It was like hell on earth, to be fair. And then we went into 2019, and I'm still pushing, and that's when we did Limitless, the conference. But it took me starting it in 2018 at the end of the year. I just thought, and so I was thinking about that, and I thought, you know what, I should develop a package for people that are struggling to literally always meet their New Year's resolutions. Do you know what I mean? And so that's where the dream came from. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm always getting little things from God.
There's little nuggets.
These little nuggets. And so, you know, there's people that are around that have not achieved their goals. You've not achieved it every single year. My New Year's resolution is this, and you say it on the 1st of January, and by the 31st of March, you still haven't started it. Do you know what I mean? This is for that person. This is also for that person that finds it really hard to break down the things. That's what I found was very hard for me. I needed help to break down. Being dyslexic, I found it hard to break down certain things and get the ball rolling on things, because I needed that extra help to paper it together. Everybody has a different reason as to why they've not achieved their New Year's resolution. So some of you have been around for the last couple of years, and you've made resolution, and you're sitting down thinking, oh, I'm fed up with resolutions, it's not happening. Right?
I know, isn't that what we say? When we're not doing it, we're like, oh, it doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me. Yeah. Well, your resolutions can work for you, so long as you put your shoulder to the wheel. So I hear you. I'm here. What I want you to do is, before the new year, gain momentum, gain focus, to action those New Year's resolutions, so that you can action them, your dreams. You know that there's dreams that's not materialized, that you've been wanting to materialize and they haven't. So I want you to action them. And so you've got to look at it and think, well, I've got to do something different. And that's what this is about, them getting to do something different than they've done before. Try something new. Literally you'll be able to achieve your goal in a year. In 2019, when we did Limitless conference, if you knew the year I had before coming into that year. Now, a lot of the times people, we go through, we're coming up to Christmas. I'm not a Christmas person, but you know, we're coming up to Christmas, and as you're coming into Christmas, it's all fun, celebration and everything. So you're way late with that. Then you enter your new year, you've made your resolution, and you're still in Christmas mode. You know what I mean? So if you actually start building the criteria that you want to do beforehand, what you'll find is you'll be in Christmas mode and think, oh, well, now I need to get on with what I need to do, because I've already set the pace already. So it's a 6 weeks. Normally I do 12-week stuff, but it's 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
And 6 weeks is achievable. So that will take you into the mid-February. And I'm sure there'll be follow-up sessions available as well, because this live coaching, this is something that you do. This is your bread and butter, as they say. And so people can go onto the Limitless website. So go onto the Limitless website, where you'll be able to connect with T to find out if you can connect with her on that level, and that she can be your life coach. And something that you said and resonates with me, because I know I'm like this as well. I know T very well. Now, she might say she struggles with an area, that she struggles with that area for herself. But when she's doing it for other people, because, you know, when you're selfless like that, you know, you got this attitude. If I'm doing something for myself, I struggle hard. The moment someone asks me, oh, Sheryl, can you do that? I'm like, oh, yeah. And it's done and dusted in no time. So, guys, this is a coach, which, as much as she might say, you know, oh, I needed a coach to help me. And it's because a lot of the time always giving. When you have that giving personality, sometimes you do put yourself on the back burner. So if you're one of those people that's always giving, you're supporting others, you're always pouring out, and to the point where you're depleted, I encourage you to join this course. Get on there, so someone can actually pour into you. And the fact that it's a group session as well, I think that's amazing, because you've got other heads in there. And if it's full of rooms of people like you, these are people who are going to sow into you as well as being sown into. So it's that kind of catalyst of everybody's just catching fire from that. And I can imagine how powerful it'd be. And I believe, and I'm going to speak this is going to be a 6-week course for now, but it's just going to be a roll on, roll off course, where it's going to be something that you're going to be able to do throughout the year, not just a New Year thing. But, I'm expecting to hear, yes, we're holding another one in the summer. We're holding another one at this kind of time of the year and this time of the year. So guys, get on it. It'll be really good if you can be right there, the pioneers. You're at the front, the first people to say, look, I've done it. Gosh, and even in my head, some more stuff's coming in, but I'll speak that to you separate. I'll speak that to you separate, because some stuff just came and I just thought, oh, this is not about sharing this with everybody else. This is something for you, T. I really can see a blessing in this. I really see a blessing in this. But guys, time has gone. There's so much more I could go into. And so, T, we will be speaking with you again to find out more about you. But thank you for your honesty, for your openness, and for sharing your dreams and your desires, and for just really running with this limitless attitude and mentality. I know there's been times where it has been difficult and it's been tough. But I've also seen where God has just had his arms wrapped around you and he just kept you going. And that in itself is a beautiful testimony. So guys who are watching, watch this space and get on to the website. It's there at the bottom of the screen. I can see it right now. So it's www.limitlessglobal.org and check out. Oh, go for it, T.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, go.
For the link for the 6 weeks coaching, it's in my bio on Insta, and it's also in on one of the videos on Facebook, because I don't think you can put it in I've got it in my bio, but I don't know how, I'm not that brilliant on them things. So just to let you know, and we've got a LinkedIn, is it linked? You know them things. Anyway.
LinkedIn, so LinkedIn's another social media platform.
Yeah. I don't, I'm not good at these things. I'm really blessed because Vicky, who has been doing all of my social media for me, bits of it, not every part of it, but especially where the coaching is concerned. She's one of the team, and she's been really fantastic sorting this out for me, because I'm just not as good as her, seriously.
Oh, and that's the thing, it's knowing your limitations and knowing who you can get the people to stand in the gap. So thank you to Vicky. She really works. In fact, we had her on one of our earlier shows where she was talking about relationships, and it'd be great to kind of speak to her again, and many others. So guys, keep tuned. We have so much planned. We're still going to be going back onto our misconceptions, and one of the misconceptions that we're going to be doing next is what was it? Christians having fun about
shouldn't have fun in it.
Shouldn't have earthly fun.
Please.
What do you think, guys? What do you think? Please send us your comments and subscribe to all our pages on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find us. Guys, just subscribe. And send your comments. If there's anything you would like us to discuss, if there are any areas which you're having trouble with or anything like that, please just get them to us. Also, if you would like to come on the show and just share your testimony, share what you're doing as a limitless woman, contact us, because we want people on here outside of our personal circles, people who are out there who are doing phenomenal things for the kingdom of God and for women at large. So bless you guys. Have a fantastic week. T, you want to end?
Okay, guys, listen, you are the best. I always like to tell people they're the best, because you are the best, and because you are a product of God, and God is in you, and you look like him. So be the best that you can be, in your environment. Be that influencer, be that person that makes a difference, that say different things, that stands in who they are, regardless as to how nervous you get. I know the nervous thing, don't you, Shez?
Yeah.
We're in a room and we both get nervous, or you're in your environment, I'm in mine, but we boldly stand and say what it is that's in us. So don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't be ashamed of who God's created you to be. And the key thing is, don't be ashamed of your past. Let your past be something that actually catapults you into your future and allows you to have a testimony for those around you to be able to develop themselves, because that's what I do and that's what Shez does. So with that in mind, we want to say God bless you. Have a fantastic week. Those of you who've only just come on, please go from the beginning and watch what has been said. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Subscribe. We need the subscriptions. We need the subscriptions on everything. It helps us to expand who we are, and we love you with a passion. Have a great day. God bless you all. Bye.
God bless. Bye.
Talks with T and Shez.